The next step in the process focuses in on layer adjustments, and this is the reason that I had you bring your base map out to Photoshop. We're going to talk about labeling in the next video, which is actually a lot easier here in Photoshop than it is in GIS in many ways. But really the reason for bringing it out here is that we can make a lot of adjustments really quickly here. And so I just want to show you a few of these. And again, we're not trying to do everything here today, just make a couple of adjustments. And so one of those I want to show you is right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything except for my water bodies. And you see that they almost disappear. This layer is almost invisible. But water bodies are really critically important. So what I'm going to have you do is just double click on the layer. And this is called layer adjustments, so layer style. And basically I can come in here and I can start playing around with this. Well, do I want them to pop out? Right? And so suddenly all of them are going up. If I click on that, I can actually tell it to reverse that so it looks, a little bit different. We can add and make changes. We can do lots of different things, change the shape. I don't know. There's lots of different ways. What looks best for making it kind of pop out? I don't know. Right now that looks all right. But maybe instead I want to just outline them, right? And so maybe that's the way that I want to go about doing this. And so I don't want a texture. That's not what I was looking for. But the outline obviously here doesn't work. So maybe I make it something thinner. Maybe I make it a blue so that we get a blue outline. Something even a little bit lighter. Start to see that we're starting to make some pretty significant changes to how that layer looks. And maybe I go ahead and give it an an outer glow. And so what this does is it allows me to put some white space. Whoa, that's a lot of white space. Right, whoa, that's probably not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for kind of an area of impact when it comes to the waterways. And so you can see it's just a matter of playing with the dials until you get something that you're comfortable with. And that seems like an awful lot. So maybe I back that off. But the whole point is that I'm trying to make it so that where there's water in the county, it's really obvious that there's an impact. And so just really quick to show you what that looks like before and after. See, now suddenly you can actually see where that's at. Same thing can be applied to the stewardship layer. Remember we cut this layer out as well. Maybe this is the one, these don't look all that great. You could say you may need to change symbols, but for right now, these are the parcels that are included in that. And so maybe it's the color I'm not comfortable with. And, just come in here. Let's go pick a better color green, something that stands out a little bit better. Whoa, that would certainly stand out a lot. Something like that. Maybe I put a drop shadow on this. Maybe I want to adjust the angle of that drop shadow and bring it around. Certainly that makes it stand out quite a bit more than what we had. You can see where if I want to put a texture on this, I can texture it. And this all happens really quickly. And so then again, I can turn on the other layers that are there. The other advantages that do come out just in terms of layer adjustments, let's say that I just wanted to pull Stevens Point out of the mix here, right? We've got this municipal boundary, but I just want to see Stevens Point. Well, let's go back to that magic wand again. Select contiguous. Let's come in and just grab Stevens Point. So just that. I can come down here. I can add a new layer. I think I'm going to make it gray. All right, there's Stevens Point. There's Whiting below us. There's Plover. So if I wanted to go ahead and add those, I'd go back to the original layer. Pick those up. If you hold down the shift key, you see the little plus comes up and it allows you to kind of add to it. You can go back to layer 1, use my paint bucket. Sorry about that. I was paint buckets hiding out over here. Picked a color from over here and dropped it in. Now I'm just going to call this the city layer. And again, I can make quick adjustments to this where pop it up, add a drop shadow. Stroke allows me to maybe to put a line around it. Maybe I'll make that a white boundary. Drop that in. Turn on the rest of my layers. Maybe readjust so you kind of see the other layers around it. Turn back on the water bodies. Turn back on. And suddenly now we've got a drawing that, really came together, and you start to see that kind of the natural features are starting to pop out. But again, we can set those priorities based on how we graphically reveal this. You could even go in and just, make changes. Now we can turn that on and off. Change the background color really quickly just by coming in again, grabbing that paint bucket tool. If you wanted something slightly different, you can drop that in. Drop in a different color, whatever that might be. Something like that, and away you go. And that's it for kind of layer adjustments. And so we'll go ahead and pick up on the last one with labeling and go from there.